Hello people, this is Power here with the build of Chronicle Gaim 2. It's finally here. What day is it? February 16th. I should be doing schoolwork, but I'm too eager and just want to get this over with. So this will take me at least 3 hours? I don't know. I would say this is the second wave of Chronicle Gaim, which consists of Gaim Kachidoki arms, Gaim Jimbo Lemon arms, or just Jimbo arms, Zangetsu Shin, and Baron Lemon Energy. Excuse me. So obviously they're covering, Gaim's next two forms, and Zangetsu's power up, and then essentially Baron's power up too. So no Ryugen, because spoilers for the next set. The extra for this one infuriates me. I understand why. I just don't like it. It's another Kachidoki. Because he's the first one in the line. It's really easy just to do Jimbo Lemon. But no. Okay, so here's Gaim Kachidoki arms. I would have just preferred if they made it consistent and made Jimbo Lemon first. But because essentially Kachidoki arms is the only form that doesn't have a sonic arrow, it makes sense. So I'm not sure when exactly the Chronicle Gaim, this series of builds, will get released, because I think I might have to dedicate an entire, I think March might have to be another dedicated month towards builds, just because of how things are kind of moving with my stuff, because I still can't start what I was supposed to this year. So I'm definitely have to cut out a month worth of content because I'm already very behind. So yeah. This will always have to get released before the Soul Saber builds. So I don't remember how I did this. I didn't watch it that much. I didn't look back that much. But the body for Kachidoki looks amazing. And then the armor. So essentially, I think this is supposed to be Gaim Kachidoki arms body, and then Kachidoki arms itself, and then Gaim Jimbo Lemon arms body, and then this is Jimbo Lemon arms, even though it technically should just be Jimbo arms. Zangetsu Shin Moen Energy arms body, and then Moen Energy armor, Moen Energy arms armor. I think it's just arms. Yeah. Why am I saying armor? Gosh. Baron Lemon Energy body, and then Lemon arms. Or is it just Lemon Energy arms? I think it just says Lemon Energy arms because they don't transform into the fruit. So this one's definitely a lot slimmer. Does he come with eyes for, wait. Okay, I thought those were separate. Oh. Okay. So that's the catch. All of his hands are on different screws because I don't think it's like the orange arms. So, okay, the crest is definitely bent. That's nice. Man, I forgot the hands were ball joints because I was like, I think the last time I was messing with these, which was like a few weeks ago, or like 2 weeks ago, I think. Because I just wanted to build Gaim form again, but I literally just like, I was switching hands and such, and I was like, wait, what the heck? Like, there's something like weird with them. Like, oh wait, these are using ball joints. I was like, oh wait, yeah, it's because I don't have the saber ones yet. Oh, so I was just like, this feels weird. Do you take this off? No, I don't think you take it off. I guess you're actually supposed to just. Oh, they're two separate stickers. I'm good then. I would have liked if this was painted, but oh well. I really like the helmet for Kachidoki. I think it would have been cool if they actually gave you the option just to have a blank eyes. Just blank eyes. And something was up with the arm of mine, apparently. I never messed with these in a while. My first wave of Solo Chronicle Gaim is literally like on the other side of the room because I don't have anywhere to put my Soto. Because my plan right now is that if for Beast Morphers, if the what was it called again? The Morphin Beast Monsters. If the Morphin Smash figure, like if someone actually like puts a clear like or takes like clear pictures of it and shows the track of the key, and if it's the exact same as blue, then I'm skipping out on it completely. Then I'm done with Beast Morphers because honestly, I'm done with that series. Like I'm already disappointed enough with the. I'm like very disappointed with that toy line. Okay, this is a really interesting sprue, but okay, so this honestly isn't as bad. Yeah, this is literally like the same stuff. But at least I obviously need to, the last Beast Morphers video, if that Morphin Smash isn't it, was going to be like an all sound compilation, like including ones that we didn't get, just because I don't get what Hasbro was thinking about this. Like, I don't know. Season 2 was very disappointing with toy releases. Like, it was like non-existent at all. The fact that I have to kind of claim the Beast X King Spin Saber as one of the best toys released out of the line is kind of sad. But, does this look fine? I don't know. Like, actually, again, looking up close to this, I am just like the fact that this part just makes the helmet so different. Like, just because this is like technically the first Gaim form where they actually like had to change the face up, because obviously Jimbo was just simply like repainted, but then like uh Kachidoki actually added new parts while like reverting it back, so. Okay, I forgot how you're supposed to put on these stickers, but. Whoops, okay, I guess like, I'll just do that. Do these have butterfly joints? Yeah. Okay, it's off. I I know, like technically, I think at this point, like I'm fully aware the build videos don't do well because quote unquote well, just because how long they are and boring they are, which is why I really would actually like to just straight up live stream them. But then again, it's like, well, you're copying other people then, and it's just like, okay then. This is for the arm. Yeah. Oh yeah, it has to be. It's literally, oh gosh. I don't know. I don't think it goes here because that actually wasn't as bad, but like I honestly do have plans of some sort to do live streams. I just kind of worried how exactly that's gonna work because, you know, just the fear of internet and interruptions. So I attempted to do a live stream like once, but then it fell on its face because I got internet cut off for me. So it's just like, oh gosh, never mind. Just pretend this never happened. I got rid of every existence of it, but I purposely left the Twitter link for it and my tweet on it just so I can like look back whenever I scroll through my like photos and such, and I see that, and I was just like, oh yeah, I attempted that. I feel like I should have done this first. Oh yeah, I could just take off the hand. That will actually be a lot easier. And I apologize if like focusing is horrible. I just realized these are all for the hands. Because I was like, wait, where do you put this on the body? And it's like, oh, you don't. I think for this set, obviously I think right away I watched Pawn TV put it together, but I actually haven't. Oh, whoops! I actually haven't looked. When did this get released? At the beginning of this month? Technically last week, and I messed up. Eh. Okay, so you want me to do the legs next, or you want me? That's what I was going to do, but you want me to do the hands next. But I'm just gonna skip that and do the body. I'm still gonna work in the body. And I just realized the Sengoku driver is black this time around, most likely just because of the fact that most of this is already. Oh wow, I got that perfectly. But just because like the hands are black and such, so it's like okay, makes sense. Uh, I find this to be challenging. How are you supposed to put this on again? By a fold? Um, if this actually had the sticker of the other side of Kachidoki, that would have been helpful, but it doesn't, so I'm just gonna have to just. Yeah. They should have probably actually thought of that. um, what else is there? Great, I forgot how these were supposed to go like this. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to wrap around. Oh, great. Um, I don't remember. I. I think I didn't bring this up, but obviously, as you guys know, they announced the other, or so after the third set, which is releasing in May. Um, like that's the end for Solo Chronicle Gaim retaily, because now it's just obviously gonna be premium, which sucks. But honestly, I'm happy that they were able to push for a third wave because that's impressive. I'm gonna have to stop. Okay. I forgot about the Genesis Rider set because I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to wait until like July or something to like get another Solo Gaim. I'm like, wait, there's the Genesis Rider set next month. So I was kind of thinking like, oh wow, like month is or not month, but March is actually kind of very light for us on pre-orders, which is good because obviously this month is going to be hectic because well, January wasn't as bad because everything for us that we pre-ordered got released at the end of the month. Because Zrekin got his Arc Driver, I got my 2 memorials that's in the Sentai keychains. So that was technically it. So essentially for February stuff that I got that are out right that got released currently is just the Yodon changer, despite the fact I haven't seen Cure Major. So I have a feeling that the Dark Zet Riser, the Metsubo Jinrai Memorial set, and the movie stuff are going to release around the same week, which honestly kind of sucks. Just because I kind of would actually want the Dark Zet Riser this week, and then the 01 stuff next week. But I don't know, I have a feeling that they're going to release at the same time. Just because. So, but for me, technically it's just the Dark Zet Riser and the Metsubo Jinrai set I have left. While for Zreiken, it's the CSM Amazon's Driver Alpha version. The movie stuff, I got pushed, or I got the third shipment, which is April, because they were insanely popular. Oh. 16, 17. Where's... Okay, so apparently... these 2 fists are for... Or these last 2 are for the fist. This one is pretty loose, to be honest, but I don't know. There. There, so we technically have a complete, whoops. We have a complete Kachidoki, which he looks pretty good, but now I need to, whoops. Now we need to do all these hands. I don't. So 115. Which order does it go? This order? But I'm trying to figure out what the order of the hands go. So it's this first. Then these. Okay. Okay. I don't know why I'm standing up. So technically, it's. So there was that. I don't know why I keep forgetting how to put these on. I forgot how to put these on. Okay. I think I just had the sticker in the wrong orientation. Man, why are all these hands different? Okay, so because this is black, it's gonna be hard for it to focus, but... Okay, second to last sticker. Okay. There, we did it. We did. We got all the hands over with. Okay, so initially I was gonna celebrate the fact that I was finished, but then I forgot that there's the arms. Cause I was like, wow, I can move on. It's like 41 minutes already. I was like, wait, I didn't do the second box. Right, no, what am I doing? I need to put the sprues in. I do like that they did switch over to ball joints, so then you can actually, it's actually a lot easier to take these hands off the sprues. Then again, I have no prior experience with Saber, so I have no opinions, because that's probably going to be after this. So let's just put all the hands to the side, because, you know, hands. Rube go jumping, Rube go growing, Rube go jumping, Rube go going, Rube for growing up. I forgot the lyrics or hands, but I actually do like it, so like I think obviously nothing against Voyager, but like I think it's actually kind of refreshing that the Ultraman actually did decide to like, wow, this box. Like it is refreshing that Ultraman did decide to actually go for different artists. Man, this is actually looking pretty good. Just let me stand Kachidoki up because he fell. Okay, he's just leaning on the box. See, the thing I appreciate with all these for now, well, I guess forever now, because they're premium, but as you can see right here, all the heads are painted. Oh, okay, so I'm gonna have to put some stickers here, but other than that, it's mostly painted. Man, I like how they did this. Oh, is that what they meant? Oh, wow. That's cool. You can see all the paint that's already on here. Wow. I thought this was going to work on a hinge. What? Wow. It's actually just PVC. Wow. That's cool. Wow. I'm impressed. I didn't know this is how it worked. I thought I was going to just swing forward, like so. Wow. I didn't expect that to be achieved in one piece. Like, I sound disingenuous, but I actually am. That's cool. Okay, so for some reason each shoulder is... And, yep, this is how the hinge... Oh, this is for the leg specifically, okay. Or this is for the side skirt. Okay, yeah. Because I was going to say it's the shoulder, but... So... Here's the DJ gun. Oh, both of them pack. See, like, they packed both of these. Here's the Taiken mode. So this is what yours... This is going to be full of stickers, but... The DJ gun. And... the flags. Fun. I like the reflectiveness of it. Okay, and then we got... As it's stuck. We got the stand with the back. Let me actually wait. I should actually probably do this right now. And I forgot about this already. Oh, huh. Actually, I should bring you three. You don't. Yeah, there's no loose accessories, so that should be fine. But I never realized this. Like, I know it's obvious because they just take the stands from like whatever series is running, but the pegs respectively for Saber, I did not expect. Again, I have no prior experience with Sabers, so. But yeah, there's that. Essentially what I meant like beforehand is that I only have them connected via 2, not 4, just because they don't like sticking together. Like, I swear, like, that's kind of my only complaint with the Saber stance, is that for me they just don't connect at all. Like, Orthos Vulcan and the Battle Raider don't like connecting with Giant Assault Hopper nor Vulcan Assault Wolf. Am I really going to struggle with this? the stand. As you can see, a bunch of ports. Oh yeah, did I ever? I don't remember. I think I did. Did I just demonstrate this? I need to look. And I mess up the sticker. So here's the front, which doesn't look bad, if I have to be honest. Oh, what the heck? Oh, this is 2 sheets. Okay. So this is for the armor itself. These are for the flags and the DJ gun. Yeah. So the flags, the DJ gun, the Taiken mode, and the stand. Woohoo! I found it. I showed it right here. Right there. Baron is standing on top of Gaim. Okay. So I'll say I'm gonna mostly do this in order, but just for the sake of it, I'm just gonna get the stand sticker with just. I apologize for that focusing. It's atrocious. 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 I gotta devolve my anguish. Whoops. Belio atrocious. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I forgot about the existence of the Beliarok talking, like Decium talking edition or version. I forgot about that, if I have to be honest, just because I saw it got announced and I'm like, that's interesting. But I don't know if this should be something I'm proud about, because this should be then something like, it's like, well, no, duh. But this is like the first toy where I'm like, I don't need it. I'm like genuinely like, I don't need it. Like, I'm actually okay with what I have. Even though I should be like that with everything. Like, you didn't need the Kaiken Rekka Sound Update Edition. I was like, well, technically I did need that for a video, or to do a video on it. I should probably actually get going. Want to do that when Primitive Dragon gets released. Like, actually released, not debut. Man, I'm so excited to have Toma screaming phrases this week. Honestly, I just want something exciting. Like, because honestly, when I got it, it's when barely any of the characters are present, because it's either just Toma phrases and one Rintaro phrase, just because Kento's dead. And yeah, I know I'm not watching the show, but still, like, I would still want, like, just give me stuff. Like, give me new finishers and whatnot. Okay, wait, how the heck is this done? uh... Wait, how am I putting this on? Am I putting it on like this? Okay. I was worrying over nothing, because I thought the split was supposed to be present, but, well, I guess I can add the split. So... Okay, you know what, I'm just gonna leave this. But, because essentially I essentially got the Kaiken Rekka Sound Up Edition when it was at update 1.11? No, 1.10. And then they haven't done much since. Like, yes, it's just phrases and such. But, like, you know, I want some oomph towards it. Like, for example, actually give King Lion Daisenki some finishers. Because as of now, King Lion Daisenki just, like, yeah, it functions, like, it still functions, like, as it should, but, like, it shouldn't, is the thing. Because this is the sound update edition, where, you know, it's the memorial version, and the fact that as of now, because I think apparently King Lion Daisenki has only showed up 3 times within the show, which is just kind of atrocious. Because wasn't there a scan of Toma and Rintaro transforming respectively into Dragon Knight and King Lion Daisenki? And it never happened in the show? Like, everyone's talking about, where's the fight between Arc 1 and Zero 2? While they shouldn't, because that's obviously photoshopped. And yet, it's like, why aren't people actually bringing up, like, actual stuff we've seen and haven't been brought up? I should put that thing away. But, so it's just like, I don't know why no one's bringing that up. Like, I don't, like, why does it have to be someone that isn't watching the show that has to ask that? Like, hey, wasn't there supposed to be this one scene that never happened? It's honestly kind of why I felt like King Lion Daisenki. I like it. It just feels completely pointless. Like, I just feel like they're like, okay, we need another assault wolf looking form. Like, I feel like King Lion Daisenki should have been introduced differently. Maybe it should have been introduced, like, I don't know, maybe it should have been a form he gotten from the southern base. Like, honestly. Because I think that's what his next form is supposed to be, because then why else would he be, like, because why else would, because I feel like where they're going right now, obviously, I just feel like that has to be where it's leading towards. Like, well, technically then, like, Primitive Dragon came from the southern base, but, like, I feel like with Rintaro specifically, because he's getting manipulated the most, because obviously, Daishinji, of course, because him and Ryo are like the smartest characters out of the entire show, are not like obviously he like Daishinji finally left the Swords of Logos, which is like cool. My favorite writer, and probably I don't know if he will be my favorite character when I watch the show, but like just I'm just happy like someone actually has common sense. Because it's like, of course, the guy that works with the swords should obviously, like, know that Toma isn't a betrayer. Okay, I don't. Okay, I was like putting that sticker on the entire. I was putting that wrong the entire time, but But honestly, I'm just kind of just waiting for either when Kento gets revived and can just situate this, like can just like put this entire situation down. Like, guys, Toma isn't the betrayer, and then like they obviously they will listen to him. It's like, oh my gosh, Kento, you're back, and then it's like, yep, all because of the power of friendship and such like that. And then like Ren's gonna like, my Kento, you're finally back. Or, because I was just saying this, like I was talking about this with Riken, because despite the fact I don't watch the show, we discuss about it, which just doesn't make sense. But it's like, oh, it's split into two. That's actually interesting. But honestly, I'm kind of expecting Kenzan to get the premium Bandai power up, because I'm just like, that's why I'm just like, can Ren just be evil just to get the premium Bandai product over with? Like, just repaint the Fusoken Hayate at this point. Like, do something. Because honestly, I don't want Espada to get the. Whoops. I don't want Espada to be the one to get the premium Bandai. Or to be the one to get the premium Bandai power up, because I think that's really dumb. Especially for him to be like, because he's the third rider. Like, why don't they prioritize it? Like, again, for some reason, Reiwa forgot how to treat it their third riders. I really, like, I really can't believe Waz was the last, like, was technically the only third rider to be treated correctly. Like, as I've said before, like, I'm not like, technically, Waz's stuff is all pointless. But the thing with Waz's stuff is that they at least sold him stuff, and they gave him stuff. And obviously, because he was a fan favorite, it just all works and such. I just feel like with Waz, he should have probably actually gotten a form that wasn't a hand-me-down, because I feel like that's kind of like Waz's issue, is that nothing he gained was necessarily for him. Like, or like centered around like him, because obviously the future writers were a hand-me-down, and then like, Ginga he just took from Schwartz, and I'll still consider it a hand-me-down because it's based off of a future writer. I really like how they actually thought of this, because if this was painted, obviously you would only have to add the black stripes, but because this is mostly black, you don't need to add in, because this is supposed to fill in the stripes. Obviously now, but however, you just need to make sure it's even. But other than that, I like that thinking. This isn't as bad as I was thinking it was going to be. Like, I'm technically nearly done. But it's just like that's technically like, because obviously like Geo versus Decade, or Decade versus Geo and Geo versus Decade are going right now. Technically, we're waiting for the last week, or technically, obviously, there's going to be one more episode. I feel like it's blowing way too fast. Honestly, I want more of it. To be honest, it's literally the only writer thing I'm watching, because obviously I'm very behind on shows. Okay, how the heck do you... Okay, I don't think I can plug this. Okay, there, that's the only way I can plug it in, but... Oh. But, I want to talk about... yeah, I can talk about that, I guess. Decade versus Geo, like, I think going in, I was definitely more excited. I was gonna say I was gonna just pop the head in, but I can't do that. But clearly going in, I was actually kind of looking forward to Decade versus Geo, just because I thought it was kind of like it was way more straightforward with where it was going, because it's just simply like, oh, murder mystery, okay. Um, While with like Geo versus Decade, it was like, oh, look, we're dealing with 7 Sogos. Like, let's have some fun with this. And it's like, we're gonna have a lighthearted adventure. Like, because I was expecting it to be the same tone as Gates Majesty, because that's what I assumed. It's like, why would they do a story like this then? I was wrong. Like, I was so wrong about that. I'm afraid of how these flags are supposed to be applied. So I watched it through the live stream they had, because I thought it was region blocked at first. So I was initially, and like, this was last Tuesday. Oh, what the heck? It's curved. That's actually neat. But I decided to. I actually wasn't planning on staying up for that long to watch it. I didn't even know they were gonna premiere it. Uh, but they did, and I was like, oh, okay. I guess I have like I have class in like several hours, but sure, I'll stay up and watch it. Man, I like how this looks. Wow. But I didn't even know Sherry's gonna be present within the event, so I was like, heck yeah, I have to stay up. Um, but essentially, at first when they were like going to watch it, like when they were watching it, they actually weren't playing it, and apparently they had to stop because the servers went down for the toy uh uh Tokusatsu fan club. The app went like the servers went down for the app because so much people were watching it. So that was funny. Oh, but then, because at first I was just listening to it, and then when they actually played it, I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll watch it. To which, like, yeah, it was kind of what I expected it to be. Hey, hey, oh. I can't. It focused, like, yeah, I didn't apply them well, but the fact I applied them is, like, start, and I think they're just the same pieces. That's interesting. Oops. Oh wow, that's satisfying. Okay, so now we just need to do the DJ gun, which I'm not really sure. So, 20, 25 and 26 are reserved for... Oh, oh, okay. They're both the same. Okay, that's great. Okay. So, Decade versus Geo. What I'm going to talk about spoilers, so, despite the fact I haven't watched it subbed. But honestly, from the promos and such, I kind of expected, because they brought back Sid and Oren's actors back as to play different characters. And then they brought back a actor from Ghost. So I was like, oh, that's neat. And then obviously, for technically the one new character they brought in is the girl from Amazons, which it's like, okay, so it just seems like they're trying to like canonize the actors from Amazons within the Rider continuity. First was Banjo, then it was Jin, because he's back, or Bach, or whatever his name is, Batch. He's Falchion and Saber, and he's literally technically the same character. But it's just like, it's cool to see him actually as a writer. Saber has a thing for bringing back Sentai actors. So I kind of want to see them bring back Haruka in some fashion. If they've already like brought back like, I guess, like major characters. Like honestly, I would just even like to see like the Amazon writers and within like a, the typical like setting, like writer setting, just for fun. But huh, that's interesting. Is this all one sticker? Wait. Oh, great. Okay, this is scary for sure. But Decade versus Geo. I guess it's actually nice to see Yusuke back. Um, again, because this is Decade's. It's Decade's special, or it's Decade's thing. So obviously, like they're probably like, okay, we should actually probably bring back a character from this series, and it's like, Yusuke? Yeah, sure. Like, at this point, he's like the only representation of Kuga that we're ever going to have. He's literally the closest thing we can have for a representative of Kuga. So, I don't mind it, personally. And then, because essentially it's just like, I was gonna worry that I put in the wrong sticker, or I peeled the wrong sticker, but. I'm sorry I keep getting distracted. But, like, that's the thing with Geo versus Decade. I can't talk about it much. Just because, like, the thing with Geo or Decade versus Geo is that, like, it has a straightforward, like, plot. But then we don't really know what's happening in the background. So there's not really much you can, like, take out of it. Like, it's. Excuse me. It's enjoyable for sure. But, like, there's just not much to pull out of it. Geo versus Decade, however, there's a lot to talk about. It seems like with that one, they actually allowed Inoue to, like, just do whatever he wanted. Because they were just like, yeah, we don't care what you do with these characters, just go out of your way. Because what he has done is interesting. Because, like, essentially, like, I don't. I guess because I didn't pick it up when I initially saw the promo, but it's just like, I don't know, because, like, obviously, like, you have to expect this, but, like, just because, like, Decade was, like, on a death, like, murder mystery and, like, death game and such, I was kind of I was just death game. Wait, wasn't I forgot. What was it? It was him and the main actor for Shinken Red. Weren't they in a drama together called, like, Death Maze or something? Like, I know Tsukasa's, like, actor. Like, he played as a character that was, like, crippled. And then, like, I guess this is spoilers, but, like, he was playing as, like, a character that was crippled throughout the majority of it. And then, like, last minute, he turned out to be the final villain and such. Or, like, to be the one behind it or something like that. Like, because I was just, like, thinking, like, wait, why would Decade be related to, like, some, like, death game and, like, murder mystery? And so it's like, oh yeah, because of that drama. But but Geo versus Decade's like an experience. Like, the thing with when I was obviously I was watching this, I watched the live stream of it, so I was essentially watching it with the actors' commentary and such. Sukasa's actor had to leave early, so it was just with Sogo, Sogo, Tsukiyomi, and then Aura, because she was, I guess, because she was like the only other actress that was available. So I was like, oh yeah, just book her. Like, the thing I actually have to do applaud these Rider Time specials for is that the time jackers actually feel like characters. Probably because they're not the antagonists. So it's just like, it's actually nice to see some character out of of these people who were previously lacking. But, like, okay, getting to the point, I was expecting Decade versus Geo to be the one to have bloodshed, to have the majority of that, because it's it makes sense. It's a death game. Uh, Nothing in Geo versus Decade doesn't nothing. There's no signs of anything very serious, or that would go to that extent and such. So I watch when I watched a Deca versus Geo, it was just oh, okay, so the old man got axed. So he got axed, and it's oh, okay. I guess I'm pretty sure they're saving the blood, they're saving the bloodshed budget for later and such. So it's okay. Then Geo versus Decade comes in, and obviously I was just kind of confused, because I'm why is it very I was kind of picking things up wait, why is the filter orange? And we knew Invis were going to be in it, but it's just wait, everything's outran by Invis? Are we having another Invis invasion? Huh. And then it's just obviously the two Sogos. Two two of the Sogos, protect the students and such. And I was just I wasn't really thinking of it. And such, I was oh, okay. Um on the stream, I guess I either missed it or they didn't have it at all, but apparently because Geo versus Decade versus Geo had an intro, but then Geo versus Decade didn't. But then so it just cuts to Sogo and Gates. Well, okay, so this I thought was pretty interesting, and I kind of figured this was going to be the case, especially in the promo. But her, however you're supposed to pronounce his name, um, I like they're being very open about it, and I like it's a plot point, but it's so he and Aura are talking about how the fact he has a crush on Sogo while Aura has a crush on Gates. They go up to those two. Gates just rejects Aura, and then he drags Sogo out because he's telling he's telling him that guys don't go out with each other, and I forgot whose tweet it was, but they perfectly call out Gates just because throughout the whole series Gates is oh yeah, so we gotta do this together. It's just wow, Gates, you're such a hypocrite. It's just I think that's the entire point. Gates only wants Sogo for himself. But anyways, obviously, because Inoue likes doing this, there's a complete tonal shift after that scene, because it cuts to a group of high school, or these guys trying to escape the school, because I watched it unsubbed, so I technically didn't know what was going on, but then I was wait, they're stuck in the school? For what? And then it's oh, because of the invasion. And obviously we gotta talk about the controversial scene where these high schoolers get mutilated by the Invis, which I was now technically I guess I kind of contribute to this, but it's honestly because the thing is that I was actually genuinely shocked by that scene because I wasn't expecting it. because I was like expecting like happy-go-lucky like tone. I'm like, oh look, like I've been saying this already, but it's like I was expecting, oh look, we're gonna have fun dealing with 7 Sogos. Like let's look at these wacky Avengers, and it's like, but then it's like after that, it's like, oh shoot, this is serious. And honestly, like I genuinely actually like that scene, I guess. Because it just shows how scary the invests are. Because honestly, when you think about it, they probably did the same exact thing in Gaim. We just didn't see it. And it's just the way they show it is just kind of like, I actually like how they did it. And such. And then, like, essentially when it finally hit me that this wasn't going to be a happy-go-lucky series, was like the scene after where Schwartz just puts like X's on an empty desk, and it just because that's supposed to show how much students have died throughout that entire time, and I'm just like, oh shoot, wait, this isn't like when I was initially watching it, I was just like, oh shoot, this isn't going to be the same tone as Gates' Majesty, alright? And then, like, essentially, by that point, Schwartz is like, yeah, so we're gonna have to defend, like, I'm just summarizing, but he's like, yeah, we're gonna need to defend ourselves, and we're going to need to, like, take our mind off of this. And then because is like, well, I want to stick with Sogo, for some reason, Schwartz is like, we're gonna make a romantic club. And it's just like, at first I was just, honestly I was confused because I watched it on subbed. I was like, wait, why are we like tonally shifting, why are we shifting the tone of this? Because literally, high schoolers just got mutilated. And now we're gonna talk about like love, like how to like love someone, or how to like why? But then it's like, oh, it's because they want to like take their minds off of like what's going on. It's like, okay. And then like obviously, then there's a scene of Sogo and Gates talking about like how they're gonna deal with it, and despite the fact I haven't seen Gates' Majesty, I really like that Inoue is actually acknowledging it, because like Gates talks about it, because like Sogo like asks Gates like, well, you said you want to be the savior, so like how do you want to like, how would you deal with this and such, and it's just like I really like that. I have to appreciate, like, I really like that this time it looked like he actually did do his research. Unlike Rider Time Ryuki, where like Sogo and Gates are like, man, that another rider's from the mirror world. We can't defeat him unless we have a watch from that world. Besides the fact that this special takes place like after the debut of Geo2 and presumably Gates revive. Like, how can you mess up that badly? But so I appreciate this time around it looked like Inoue actually like knew what was going on. So then after this scene, okay, so essentially like there's these like high schoolers that are kind of like lost their minds at this point, so they are like holding up a razor blade up to this female student. Schwartz actually surprisingly beats them up pretty well, so good for him. But then obviously the student with the razor blade is like, oh, forget life. He like opens the window, jumps out of the building, breaks his leg, and gets eaten. And it's like, okay. And then luckily, Tsukiyomi finally comes in with the series, because I think she's supposed to represent like the group of students that are like stranded, I guess, because apparently that's what happened. So yeah, Tsukiyomi is stranded within the wasteland they're in, and then at this point, I'm jumping ahead of like episode 2, but then of naming terminology, but then Sogo C, we finally see more of him, and then we get more of, I guess, this world's counterpart of Misa. That's the Amazon girl's name and such. So then her and Sogo C go off to the school and such. And then there's another invest attack, and then Sogo B arrives. No. Sogo C arrives to it first. No. No. Sogo A and Gates are dealing with it. Then Sogo C arrives. Or is it the other way? But then Sogo B arrives, and so essentially the three Sogos confront each other, and Gates is all confused and such. Then with episode 2, Schwartz is just like, I don't want to deal with this. We're just going to label you 3. And then, technically when I think about it, not much happened with episode 3. Or episode 2, I meant, but... Oh yeah, at the end of episode 1, Tsukasa comes in with the Jeep. So, episode 2... You know, Schwartz labels each of them, and then... Sogo and Gates are like talking about like this entire situation, and then Waz is only seen because Keisuke is becoming a big actor, so they probably were only able to get him for the one scene. And I think I don't know what exactly Waz is talking about. He talks about like something with the future, probably something about like how there's like no future or something, or like how it's like, you know, it's not written or whatever. Because, like, the advent calendar doesn't have anything within the book. So then, like, Wallace just says his thing and leaves, and it's just, like, Wallace, you're really not going to help out in this situation? Like, students are dying. Like, this is, like, the most serious situation we have to deal with in this world. And you're not going to do anything? Then I think it cut to, like, Tsukasa approaching one, like, Sogo F, I believe it is. And essentially this part just shows, like, essentially just, not demonstrates, but just showcases essentially what Tsukasa's role is throughout the series, which he was essentially, I guess, he was taking out other Sogos, which is okay. Which is okay. Like, you know, like, I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying, like, that is, and then comma, okay, like, moving on and such. And Aura talk before this, I did not know this was necessary. I did not know we were going to get this, but apparently, like, I guess it makes sense because, you know, people would have been like questioning, but like, they explain that, like, they talk, or like they essentially show that essentially the food they've been eating the entire time were invests, and honestly, it's just like, I'm actually surprised of how, like, Solo just brushed it off. It's like, cause I thought it was like one of the Solos murdering someone, but then it just turns out like it was Schwartz just cutting up ribs, and I was like, okay, something's very eerie about the scene. And they just cut to like the invest parts, and it's like, oh, okay. And like Solo's just like, yeah, sure, I'll help. And it's just like, he's not gonna like go out and like, I'm actually surprised with that response, if I have to be honest. But, oh, okay, so, and Aura are discussing, like, essentially, again, I don't know this is the full context, but, essentially, like, Aura's just, like, giving her more advice on how to approach Sogo, to which he does, because, like, Sogo just, like, walks in right when she's applying lipstick to him, and, like, Sogo just runs off and such, But then Sogo meets up with Sogo C because they had a scene earlier, but I honestly don't know the full context. So, no, Sogo B I meant. Uh, so what the heck? Where did this hand belong to? Okay. So Sogo C, Sogo B I meant. he No, so there's another Invis attack. Then Sogo B decides to take her, and just drop him down to the Invis. So like Sogo A has to like save him and such. And then the two fight, and Sogo A actually loses, and which is like, oh shoot, the main Sogo's gone. Like so that's like obviously that was like kind of intriguing. But then another thing that was interesting too, again, like calling back to Gates' Majesty, is that Aura actually has her time jacker powers back, which is really interesting because it's like that's like, oh shoot, like that's like like that's major obviously because the time jackers don't have their memories. Well, no one has their memories. But like they have a vague idea, like Sogo and like Sogo Gates and Tsukiyomi, they have a vague idea what they did, but they still don't really know what happened. But for the time jackers to like actually get their powers back slowly, that's interesting. And like it seems like Schwartz actually, it seems like they're hinting that he might have actually already gotten his like somewhat regained his memory. So that's really interesting if I had to say so. But then yeah, so the ending, they introduced Sogo D and E, which is like okay, and then Tsukasa just comes, like he arrives right when Sogo A got defeated, and he's just like laughing it off. So it's just like I don't know what his deal is, because technically I don't want to say like, I guess this time around he's like again being antagonistic, but like again we don't even know. And then like the episode previews, I'm going to talk about both episode previews for both Decade versus Geo and Geo versus Decade, just because they're kind of interesting. I should have talked about episode 2 of Decade versus Geo, but not much happened. It was just they killed off the Amazon. They killed off Misa, surprisingly. Killed, but I feel like she's clearly behind it. Like she's clearly suspicious of something. Man, this looks great. I technically did this wrong. What am I doing? um. Oh yeah, and then Shorts died because I kind of feared he was gonna die next, just because he wasn't, because and Ara are in like pictures for like the final battle, so or for the final round. So I was like, well, okay, if anyone else had to die, then it was going to be Schwartz. But then, yeah, there's not really much to talk about with episode 2. But episode 3 for Decade vs. Geo, that's where they put all their blood, their bloodshed budget. Wow, this is looking beautiful. just because like there's like they they just throw all the bloodiest scenes in there, and it's just like, guys, why can't you wait? Why can't you wait for the actual episode? Like, Uru gets his throat slit. Sakasa gets stabbed in the gut again. And then, like, I don't even know what the final battle's supposed to be on about. Oh, that's actually cool how that works. Man, I'm really liking this. Okay, now we can do this. And then episode 3 of Geo vs. Decade, obviously just like everything, like everything's going down because now the Invest have completely infiltrated the school. I don't think Schwartz is the bad guy. Or I don't think Schwartz is like completely like, or at first I thought Schwartz was actually up to something, but in the preview he's showing like they've like, or he's with Gates fighting the Invest, so it's like, okay, so yeah, he's clearly not behind it. But again, because they need some bloodshed, Uru's like completely covered in blood. Like, it's not as bad as him getting his throat slit, but like he's still like completely covered in like blood and like what debris and whatnot. So it's just like, gee, they're trying to make him the next N of just getting completely abused. It's like, why? Wow, I'm liking this. Well, yeah, I can't wait for next week. Or technically this... Oops, wrong hand. I can't wait until Saturday to have this all end. And it's just, oh yeah, the thing too with Geo Decades that they're gonna defeat those stupid forms somehow. It's just like, I don't know if you know, Geo vs. Decade was lighthearted and just like, you know, having fun, then I would have been like understandable at like the farms. But then because it's like all like not melodramatic and such, it's just like the story, the plot is just like all like kind of like serious and such. But then like the situation's just kind of like, oh shoot, like we're dealing with seven Sogos and such, and like they kind of want to like, you know, defeat each other and such. So it's just like, how are you supposed to make sense of these forms? Especially Decade Complete 21? Like, I just don't get it. I really would have just preferred if Decade Complete 21 to just, like, I just would have preferred if these forms would have just debuted in their respective series. Instead of just cramming it into Geo vs. Decade, because I feel like there's not really, because obviously, like, Decade versus Geo on average is like 12 minutes, and then like Geo versus Decade is nearly 20 minutes. So unless they push episode 3 of Geo versus Decade to be 20 minutes, and then Geo versus Decade to be 30 minutes, then that's fine. Like, if they push the time of the episodes, we're fine, but then like if they don't, then it's like, yeah, that's kind of an issue. Man, it's so weird to have candy toy figures that can actually wrap their hands around the accessory. Man, that's weird, but nice at the same time. Yeah. But, like, I feel like people might, like, I can definitely tell, like, people might actually genuinely enjoy Geo vs. Decade a lot more. Just because that one, like, Geo vs. Decade is a lot more fleshed out, but the plot's just not really connecting. While with Decade vs. Geo, there's a straightforward plot, but, like, the behind the scenes stuff is not really clear, and also because there's no, like, excuse me, there's no, like, in suit fights until the final episode, which what I assumed. Oh well, I'm just gonna post them like this just because. Like, I'm talking for too long, so it's just like, you know, I just need to end it, but can I peg this in? Yeah. But other than that, I technically should have spread this discussion between all 4 of the videos instead of just all 1, because then technically this means I have nothing to talk about for the other 3. But other than that, like, I actually do genuinely enjoy Decade vs. Geo. Or, yeah, Decade vs. Geo, and how did I do this again? Okay. Like, I genuinely actually do enjoy the Rider Time specials that are going on right now. Just because, you know, it's actually nice to see. Whoops. It's actually just nice to see these series back in some fashion, because obviously Geo didn't get a second VEASAN X, and I don't think it was going to get one, but it's nice to see that back. Does he have way more hands? Great. Putting these hands on is kind of... Huh. I just want to put these ones on. Then I'll give... I'll be left with 2 hands that aren't going to be used. So I'll just stick this one up here, and I guess the other one up here. Yep, okay. So... So there's Gaim Kachidoki after me for talking for too long. This is probably the longest build I've done now, just because I've talked about Decade vs. Geo and Geo vs. Decade. So obviously next up will be Jimbo Arms. So this is PowerRider, and I'll leave you people. Finally.